Everyone thinks they know what military grade means. Strong, reliable, battle tested. But here's the part nobody knows. And this wasn't some random tool. This was critical equipment. The most expensive piece of gear we had overseas literally stopped working unless someone peed on the ground. That's military grade. Let me show you the truth. Military grade just means it barely worked during training, broke on deployment, and smelled like Oscar the Grouch's nutsack. Built by the lowest bidder, tested by a dude with a rat tail and a felony, and if it worked, it was by accident. Like a fart fixing a back problem. Military grade isn't a compliment, it's a warning label. It's one of the best marketing buzzwords out there, but to veterans, it is different. Before civilians made it a slogan, military grade meant, yeah, this thing's about to ruin someone's week. It was like the government said, issue them gear that works great, as long as no one touches it, moves it, uses it, thinks about it. The whole squad would just freeze around it like, nope, not it. Because the first dude who touched it becomes the official reason it broke. Ugh, must be military grade. And the second it died, staff sergeant would come storming over like, no, you used it wrong. Man, I didn't use it, I just turned it on. That was the truth. But marketing loves to pretend military grade means invincible. Like the gear we had wasn't dying faster than the ice cream machine at McDonald's. Man, these commercials always show some dude sprint through a forest in slow motion like military gear turns you into Jason Bourne. Nope, it turns you into a man begging a battery to hold on for 6 more seconds. And the guy in the commercial always looks like he eats danger for breakfast. Real military gear made you the danger to yourself and everyone around you. Marketing acts like military gear gives you confidence. Real military gear gives you anxiety. Every button press felt like a gamble. They'll show a dude driving through the mud, sparks flying, explosions behind him. Meanwhile, half our gear couldn't survive being left in the truck overnight. These ads make it look unstoppable. Real military gear was like, listen, I can either function or exist. Pick one. And all that commercial nonsense is nothing. Nothing prepared me for the one piece of gear that actually required bodily fluids to function. In Afghanistan, I'm walking over to check our comms and Staff Sergeant yells, "Hey, if you're heading that way, pee on the metal rod." I laughed, thought he was joking. He wasn't. He goes, "Ground dries out, signal dies." And I'm standing there like, bro, we're in a desert. This is the driest place on earth. And he just shrugs like, yeah, that's why you got to keep peeing on it. And I'm thinking, wait, this is what billions in defense spending got us? A piss-powered radio? After that, it wasn't even weird anymore. It just became part of the routine. Hydrate, ammo, pee on the rods. Just another task on the checklist. If the enemy watched us, they probably wouldn't even shoot. They'd be like, yeah, nah, whatever that is, let it happen. That's when it finally hit me. Military grade didn't mean strong. It meant held together by desperation and bad decisions. And here's the part nobody tells you. Military grade was never about quality. It wasn't about durability. It wasn't even about safety. It was about cost. Civilians hear military grade and imagine some elite standard, right? But the actual standard is, can this be mass produced cheaply, meet the minimum requirements from 30 years ago and not explode immediately? That's it. That's the bar. Half the gear we used was built by the lowest bidder who won a contract 3 presidents ago. Some of this stuff was designed before Wi-Fi, before Bluetooth, before common sense. Companies know this, man. That's why they love slapping military grade on backpacks and flashlights, because civilians think it means bulletproof. Veterans know it means this passed the bare minimum inspection by a guy who's been awake for the last 36 hours. And the wild part is, the military doesn't even want companies using the term because it doesn't mean what civilians think it means. It's not a badge of honor. It's not a flex. It's a legal loophole. Milspec literally means it meets an old spec sheet the government hasn't updated since Blockbuster was still around. So when a company brags about it, man, we just laugh because we know the truth. If the military bought it, they bought it because it was the cheapest thing they could get in bulk without causing a congressional hearing. Meanwhile, the only thing actually holding everything together wasn't military grade at all. It was people. It was the dudes with duct tape on their gear, bad backs, no sleep, still making broken equipment work because the mission didn't care if the battery died. The label got all the glory, the gear got all the marketing, but it was always the people. Carrying extra weight, fixing junk in the dark, getting blamed when it failed, and then doing it again the next day. That's the funny part to me. Civilians will buy the backpack, the boots, the watch, the patch, like they're buying into some invincible standard. But the standard was never the stuff. If you want to see something actually military grade, it's the guy who kept showing up with trash gear, bad instructions, no support, and still got it done anyway. Here's the truth. When companies say military grade, they're just hoping you don't know any actual military. Because if you did know us, you'd know that military grade just means, yeah, we tested this on people who weren't allowed to say no. These companies act like the term means elite performance. Bro, it means the opposite. It means the gear was built cheap, issued fast, and prayed over often. They act like military grade means it meets some high standard. The real standard was, did it work long enough for someone to sign for it? If you really want durability, stop chasing the label. Chase the stuff real people use without swearing at it. I trust something used by hikers, EMTs, mechanics, construction workers, people who actually need their gear to function, way more than anything some marketing team spray painted tan. So forget the buzzwords. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, calling it military grade won't save it. At the end of the day, military grade just doesn't impress me. I've seen gear fail in ways that should be documented by scientists. If you've ever dealt with trash gear, military or not, drop it in the comments. Tell me the worst piece of equipment you've ever trusted with your life. I read every single one. And if this video made you laugh or taught you something, hit subscribe. It helps way more than you think. If your product works, cool. If it needs a P rotation, it belongs in the military.